Welcome back. I'm glad you can chat with me on another episode with Lancescurv, yours truly. Today, I want to speak about the feeling of being powerless and what we can do about it. There's so many variables that we have allowed to slip into our life that make us feel powerless. On the outside, we have the confidence. On the outside, we push. But deep down, it's like the rug is being pulled from under our feet of confidence, of being assured that the world and the system that we're in will serve us back fairly, and we know it's a lot different than that. But there are a lot of things that we don't understand or we have been aware of that have crept up on us. And I jotted down a whole lot of notes so I don't forget any one point, because many times I make a video and talk about certain things and kind of forget and say, oh man, there's 3 more points that I wanted to bring up. So I jotted them down, but I want to show my face and talk to you about this, because I think this is very important. Anyway, number 1, information overload. Information overload. The human brain was not designed to process endless streams of global information 24/7. News of wars, disasters, celebrity scandals, economic crashes, and political chaos flood our minds constantly through smartphones, TVs, and social media. Unlike the past, where bad news was mostly local and limited, today's technology exposes us to suffering and fear across the entire planet non-stop. This chronic bombardment creates a sense of helplessness, as if the world is spiraling out of control and there's nothing we can do to stop it. What's the point? Too much information triggers anxiety, overwhelms, and the illusion of powerlessness. I forgot the exact numbers, but I heard this on a video and I read it in some writing, that back in the late 60s, we were bombarded with far less ads, advertisements. We didn't have to, the systems of media didn't have to compete as much because it wasn't that many different levels of things to saturate our mind. We didn't have smartphones back in the late 60s. We had radio, television, newspapers. That was very limited, because when you were at work, you didn't see the TV unless you had one at your job for whatever reason, and you weren't watching it to just sit there and watch it, you were doing your work. But that's far and few between. The newspapers you'd grab, or you'd go home or have it delivered and you'd read it. And pretty much it wasn't up to the minute stuff that we can watch now. It was something from the day before, 2 days before, and the Sunday paper had stuff from all week, the whole week before. And that was a ritual when you read the Sunday paper. And it wasn't so much of this negative stuff. There was negative things going on in the world, yes, but it wasn't like now you pick up, as soon as something happens, you're getting it. And bad news really sells. So what do you think they put up? I have an app. I'm going to have to take it off. It's a news break app. And every title, which you can't see the full title on the smartphone, but the first 3 words pops up. They always say breaking news. It wears you down because it's not really breaking news. But some people get fooled with that. They see that breaking news. Uh-oh, I better watch it. YouTubers do it too. Everything is breaking news. Joe Biden fell and broke his toenail. Breaking news. Right? Another celebrity couple has a trans child. Breaking news. Is that breaking news for you? No. But some of us are addicted to this because we get this dopamine hit every time something pops up and say, wow, you're getting a rush. We're stimulated. Dopamine is natural, but it's like we're using drugs. This is why I say the smartphone is the ultimate crack pipe, because we got this phone in front of our face, smoking it all day. And even when something doesn't pop up or we go looking for stuff, the endless scrolling. So we're willingly bombarded with stuff too much. We go to bed and we're wondering, what's going on in the world? Let me see one more time. Let me go to this website. I've detached from that. I do my videos Maybe it's a little less than usual before, but I've detached from all of that craziness because time will go by and your life will run by you while you're an observer to everything else that's going on in the world. And like I said, I'm gonna say it again, especially on this topic, circle of concern and circle of influence. You have to ask yourself, can I change this? Why am I worried about it? Why am I upset about it? But too much of this stuff will make us feel powerless. We're like spectators, we're watching and looking, and the information is powerful. You know, we want to see what's going on in the world, but I think it's a bit much. Let's go back to the days of the television, which I don't subscribe. I'm just saying in comparison as far as frequency. Television, radio, newspapers, local stuff. Breaking news was really local stuff at one time, unless there's something really bad happened on the national level. But it's too much. All day you see people down in their phones absorbing this stuff, but what can they do with it? It paralyzes them. It paralyzes them in their own life. You got stuff to do in your day. You can't let this thing take your energy that way. Let's move on to the next point. One of my favorites, disconnection from nature. I hope you can hear the crickets in the background because where I am is summer all year round, right? Many people in developed nations spend most of their lives indoors in artificial environments, detached from the rhythms of nature. Simple activities like walking barefoot on grass, feeling the sun, or listening to bird songs have been replaced by screens and concrete. Nature has a grounding, calming effect on the human nervous system. But when we cut ourselves off from it, our stress levels rise and our sense of balance deteriorates. What's the point? Without nature's grounding influence, our bodies and minds become more vulnerable to anxiety and hopelessness. Woo, that's so true. Like I said, unless I have something to do, which I've been running a lot the last few days, hence the reason why I didn't do a video yesterday, but I'll make up for it. Normally, I wake up, take a shower. Sometimes I don't. I wake up, and before I shower sometime, I go up on the balcony, one of these balconies, depending on where the sun is, and usually in the morning time it's in one spot, but there are two balconies that kind of get me in the right place. There's one that's so perfect for it. I call it the private balcony. And I lay out in the sun. And there's a tree near that side of the house, several trees, but there's one that has a bunch of bird nests in it. I don't know what kind of bird it is, but they sound so nice. And I'm laying right there and I'm hearing this. And the sun is down on me early in the morning, and woof, I take it all off, let the sun do its job, and I can sit up there for an hour, hour and a half, sometimes 2 hours, and just wake up into peace, depending on what I have to do for the day. Sometimes if it rains a little earlier, no problem. I'll go down in the backyard, walk around, go way down deep, just absorb it, And it brings me into a balance because, speaking on this, beyond what I just read out of my notes, you recalibrate. See, whether you live in a city or live in the country, you're part of nature. And you need to be part of nature. Just being out in it, a nature bath. Even the parks in the big cities don't do it because you're still seeing cars, unless it's a deep, deep, deep park where you can get away a little bit, but there's still compromise when you're in the big city. It should be mostly country that you're in and away from the hustle and bustle and the craziness, right? The concrete jungle. I was born and raised in New York City, so I know what the concrete jungle is all about. But moving to Queens when I was 5 years old, my folks left Manhattan and moved into Queens. Queens was more country-ish then. Folks in Manhattan used to say, oh, you moving, what did they say? Oh, you moving out to the country. I remember that back in the late 60s, early 70s, folks would say that Queens was the country. You can't say that now. You can't. They have parks and stuff, but you can't say that now. Even the insects and the animals that were around, there were rabbits in Queens. There were snakes in Queens. There were fireflies in Queens. all kind of butterflies in Queens, all kind of caterpillars, of course, praying mantises in abundance. You saw these things frequently. And it was amazing. The other types of bugs and bees and stuff, they were there, but they don't have fireflies in Queens, New York anymore. The snakes are gone, and they were garden snakes. They weren't poisonous. But as a child, it was a wonderment. I mean, I even got this little fish tank, right? A small fish tank, and the rectangular one, and filled it with dirt, and put ants in there, and watched through the sides of the glass how they dug and how they went deep and stuff. Nature fascinated me. I had a fish tank growing up. Had cats and dogs and stuff. And you spend time in nature as much as you could in comparison to me being in West Africa now, which is a righteous happy overload, because I wake up to birds and the mountain air and stuff. It's changed me. It didn't change me overnight, but it's a gradual thing, So I move different. Even when I go down into a crowd, which is not like New York City, except you have the energy of the people moving around and shuffling and selling things. I like that. I need that recharge. I need that mass human contact. That's what I was used to, but the toxicity, no. So I'm like a cell phone that when you take the cell phone off and you're with it all day, it's off of the charger, right? When you bring it home, before you go to bed, hopefully you put it on the charger. So I'm charged up when I leave. And it's helped me to slow down a whole lot more, to focus my thoughts a whole lot more, and to be in my own world as much as I need to be in it. Because if you're not in nature and you're in the artificial living conditions, it's just a way of just taking you out of that being on your charger, mentally, spiritually, and physically. I sleep deeper, my thoughts are clearer, I have myself to myself more. And I feel empowered because of that. I don't have any energies around me that I don't want around me. I have myself to myself, and it's a beautiful thing. Move on to the next one. Constant comparison culture. Social media fuels endless comparisons. People see carefully curated highlight reels of others' lives, luxury, beauty, success, and begin to feel inadequate in comparison. Even if you're doing well, seeing others appear to do better can foster dissatisfaction, jealousy, and the feeling that you're always falling behind. What's the main point of this? Comparing ourselves to others constantly erodes self-worth and leads to feelings of powerlessness, right? It's like a perpetual adolescence, that's what I'll call it. Meaning that when you're young, you're a teenager, a tween, and even an older teenager, but 14 and 13, 15, 14, 13, and there you're leaving being a child, even though you're a child up until about 18, or depending on where you are, if it's 16, right? And you're still not an adult when you cross those ages because it's a gradual change. But for legal reasons, that's what they say. Because somebody at 18 is not what they're going to be at 30, right? But you go through those insecure periods, right? Where you compare. Like you see the young men in the gym class and they see the next guy with bigger muscular arms. They say, man, I got to get in shape. Or man, I got to lose this gut. Been eating too many Cheetos, right? That's normal because you're gradually becoming an adult and you gut check yourself. Some people don't care. And a lot of these adolescents now, they're so engulfed in their world of cyberspace that it's like they don't give a damn. You got young boys out here, they've gotten so chubby, they have breasts now. They don't care. They want to be on that computer. They want to be on that smartphone. They want to play these games. They're already detached and they're not going through the normal adolescent period, but yet and still with the smartphone and seeing social media into their 20s, into their 30s, the period that they should have gotten over is extended now. The adolescence, the insecurities of adolescence are extended now. So you're looking sideways. Oh, they just put a new car. Oh, they got a bigger house than me. Oh, and remember, like I just said, carefully curated content to show the highlights. And this is what we do. Many of us live in this fake world. We're showing all the good parts, but we don't show the downtime. I know people who live their lives to just create this reality for their life that doesn't exist. Doesn't exist. That's why I keep a lot of stuff. I don't share it. Because folks are going to say, oh, you showing up. People have told me this. A lot of folks said they couldn't compare no more because they talked about relocating, which you don't have to do, but that was my decision and Mr. Scurv's decision, right? And we did. Now, oh, who do you think you are? You relocate. You just trying to show off. Why would I move to a different country just to try to show off? I moved here for more peace and to be away from that place. Where it's a cesspool of toxicity. I miss my people there. I have no problem with the country. It's the system. And some of the people, the mindset of the people. I'm not in that thing. I'm older now. I'm retired now. I'm too old for certain things. I don't need to be up in people's, peeking on their page, and I don't do that. I know a lot of people who do that, right? I have friends of mine who monitor my pages and let me know what's up. Like, Lance, man, this particular person here, yeah, I'm like, man, what are you looking for? I mean, like, really going in. I don't mind. I'm a public person because I've been doing these videos for so many years. I don't mind that, but the fanatical thing is what gets me. That you can get people who are comparing themselves to you and comparing your life to theirs, and they're mad at you and you don't even know them. They happen to see a profile or one of your videos and they go and snake through, which is cool. If you like a person, their presentation, I have no problem with that. But the ones who get upset, or the ones who half know you and run with gossip, oh, Lance this and Lance that. What? Do you have a life? Right now I do these because this is enjoyable for me. Keeps me in contact with the good people that I know. And we vibe. That's the way it is. But for any venomous reason, no. Because you know what? I was up very early today and I covered so much ground. Had a problem with my cell phone, changed the battery over. It was sucking down too fast. I think it still needs to be looked at again. But soon I'm gonna get another phone, maybe like an iPhone or something like that, to match up with my Apple, my Mac, production-wise, right? But this is fine. I've had this phone here for 2 years and it's working all right, except this one little thing. But it will suck you in if you let it. If you let it. You'll be sitting up in the bed, phone over, you're looking at it, and it'll fall and hit you in the face. It's happened to me. And not because I was fiending on watching and comparing, but I like to process a lot of worthwhile information. It helps to make my conversation better. It helps to make me more worthwhile to talk to, and especially with things that are happening, because this is what I do. I can only say the same things over and over so many times. So if I can't offer you anything at this particular point in my life, I'm not just gonna come out here and talk stupidness. We can vibe that way. But that's my responsibility to get but I have to filter through it though. I can't sit here and just let everything wash in my brain. I'm concerned, but can I influence it? That's the difference. But the comparison thing, the perpetual adolescence that most grown folks have now, they're living their adolescence all through their life, getting mad, getting jealous, and peaking and insecure. That's gonna mess you up, because there's always gonna be better. There's always gonna be people who are more wealthy. There's always people who are gonna have a bigger house and more, and you sitting there fuming. Enjoy life. You don't know how much more of it that you have to live. I ran around a lot today. I didn't want to, it was unexpected for me, but I enjoyed it. I had good conversations. I made people laugh that I know. My social circle here is growing. It's growing. I don't need a whole lot of people, but the few that I have is really enjoyable. And the more and more I think about America, the more distant it's getting to me. Like I told you before, and this is off topic. When I lived in New York, and I was deciding between moving to Atlanta or Orlando. And of course, I did not want to move to Atlanta. You know, I'm not with that download stuff. That's everywhere, but I'm like, yo, I'm not doing it. I decided Orlando, and when I came down to Orlando, I'd been down before, and I was deciding to go and sell my house and come down. And someone had asked me at one point, they said, you don't know anybody down there. And I knew one or two people down there. One I lost contact with, and one I got back in contact with them in a freak way because we lost numbers. But I said, yeah, I got people down there. I wanted to see their reaction. I said, no, you don't know anybody down there. I said, listen, I got friends down there that I haven't met yet. And they were like, wow, that's a heck of a way of looking at it. Just like moving out here. There are people who know me, who I'm cool with and friendly with. I'm not gonna say they're friends, because my friends mostly from decades are in the States, especially in New York City. Some that I know from way back in the 70s, several of them. One from back in '69 when I was 6 years old. We talk damn near every day, and I say that in a lot of my videos. So I'm rooted that way. So I use technology. We keep each other, send each other music or just little jokes or keep up with what's going on, have conversations, wonderful stuff. It keeps me plugged in. So I can enjoy this solitude now more in time to be able to I feel like I'm living with them. We're all together, even though I'm way in a different country on the other side of the world. That's a good thing. That helps out a whole lot. But let me get back on point. Economic pressure and rising costs, wages are not keeping up with inflation. Housing prices are skyrocketing and basic necessities are becoming harder to afford. People in modern countries are often trapped in debt cycles, living paycheck to paycheck despite working long hours. Financial instability breeds chronic stress, making people feel like no matter how hard they work, they can't get ahead. Now, I'll loop this in with what I said before about the comparison culture. Many people are always wondering, like, how are they making it? They got this job that pays only so much. How is it that they can afford this or do? And we don't know what people are doing, right? We don't know what people are doing. You know, what's the point? Economic struggle creates a daily fight for survival, draining mental and emotional energy, which is true. But I think that many of us, not all, I can't say a number or percentage, but a lot of us, just like binge eating or comfort eating, a lot of us pull out of our budget and buy things thinking it's going to make us feel better. And when other people buy even more things, wow, this phone is popping off. I have everything here. I can't answer the message. Can't answer it right now, recording. But I think they stress themselves that way. As long as you're materialistic, listen, get what you need. I don't care about the fluff. I do not care about it, because you get what you need. You may want something every now and then. I'm not mad at you for that. But the wrong thing is to say, I work hard enough for it, I deserve it. Because now you're gonna buy something that you may not be able to afford. The numbers seem right at the moment. At the end of the day, you're squeezing again. The best way is to be independent financially. The best way to say is, well, let me get rid of debt. Not buy more things that are gonna make me have more debt, because that's a stress over your head. The most beautiful thing is to not owe anybody anything, right? Because that perception that you're being squeezed, to me, it's not how much money you make or how much you have. Yes, that's a factor, but it's what you don't spend. And if you need to expand because you feel the nooses around your neck financially, then find hustles to do more and to make more, because it's breaking down that way. A lot of us are not flexible. A lot of us, we may have a tight budget and not making as much money in the chosen field that we always wanted. Well, you might have to do something out of your field. You have people who will complain, oh, in my area of work, there's not much jobs. Then move somewhere if you're single. It's not that easy. I saw a white man on YouTube, and many people are doing this, get a van. He hooked up the van to live in, not just a couple of seats. And he worked on this for about 2 years because he saw that where the jobs were going in his area, they were drying up. And it wasn't an AI thing at that time. Well, he went where the work was, and he lived out of his van. And maybe once every 2 weeks or once every week, he rents a nice hotel room to stretch out in for a day or two to keep his sanity. So it's not like he's traveling all over every other week. If he found a job in a different state, he's going there. And that's how he's going to live. And he's been doing it. I got to find that, it was on my old channel. I subscribed to it. I got to find it again. But there are many people who are doing that. I'm not just saying the people who are just living out of their car because things are bad, but people who are purposely leaving the comfort zone and going where the work is and to make ends meet and beyond, because they found jobs and opportunities that were far beyond what they were doing. But we just have to think different now in this day and age, because it's easy to feel powerless, you see? But if we become more flexible, things can ease up a lot more. And I know AI is coming. That's going to put a lot of people out, and folks don't even realize it. So there's a lot of things looming over our heads that we don't even need to think about. Think about your situation, what you need to do for your issues, because I hate to use the word problems, but problems are all over the place. I say challenges, but if it's a problem for something distant, way beyond anything I can influence, and it has nothing to do with me, I'm not saying I don't care. I care for everybody to go and overcome. But what's facing you right now? That's the question. Are we dealing with the issues that we have to deal with ourselves right now? Because a little bit of money can make a difference. A person told me years ago, they were into real estate and banking and all this stuff. And they said, you know, Lance, this was back when the foreclosure thing was going on, and back in 2008 when the economy crashed in America. He said, Lance, it's not the whole mortgage that's killing people. It's the fact that that $200 or $300 that they couldn't put their hands on, and they fell behind. I was like, wow. So you can still do it. So for some people, no. They bit off more than they can chew. But keep it tight. Keep it tight. Because the simple things in life are the best. To me, here it is. Loss of community and real human connection. In many developed nations, strong community ties have weakened. Families are spread out. Neighbors barely know each other, and loneliness is rampant. In simpler societies, people still live close to extended family and community support systems. Without these connections, people feel isolated, and isolation feeds despair. Point: human beings need real connection. Without it, we feel alone and powerless. Exactly. But in the fact that human beings need real connection, keep it positive, keep it authentic. Because when you have people who are around you, who are just around you to know your business, to talk about it, to run all over town and talk about you, or see how you're making it in an envious way, like, no, let's do, and that's the only reason why they're around you, or they're just using you, no, cut them off. You don't need that. You don't need that. So don't let what I said lead you into adopting a false community around you that's not solid, with people who really care for you, love you, have your back. I'm not trying to set you up to fail and laugh at you. That's not community. No. So this is why now my floodgates are not going to open up like that. Everyone is vetted depending on how close they are to me. And if it's something suspect or I sense something, hey, I'll be friendly. Hey, how you doing? Some that have proven themselves to be a certain way, keep your head straight, erase them out of your life, and keep it going. It may seem cruel, but it's about you. Too many of us don't care for ourselves on so many different levels, and we let certain things happen to us, as far as even family members. If they, and it sounds cruel, but if they're negative towards you and proven to not, cut them off. Cut them off. You may think it's cruel. Many of you will agree because you've been through situations that have taught you. When you learn and internalize, you overcome. And in actuality, your life gets better. Because you don't have to deal with something you say, oh God, here comes this person. No. You have a different life. You're born alone, you're going to transition alone. And everything in between is up to you. We create our life. Technological dependency. That's number 6. We rely on technology for nearly everything: work, communication, entertainment, even navigation. This dependency creates anxiety when technology fails or changes. Moreover, many fear that advancing technology, especially AI, may replace their jobs or devalue their skills, adding another layer of uncertainty to their future. Point: overdependence on technology creates anxiety and fear of becoming obsolete. Who would have thought? But we have so many movies that talk about that and kind of let us know the machines will take over. And this makes us understand how it's better to live a simple life away from the hoopla in these cities that are so overpacked. You know, when I lived in Florida, we'd either drive up to Georgia or the Panhandle or even leave Orlando and come down to Miami. You realize that, like, say for example, you have little cities and you have Orlando in the middle, you have Tampa on one side, but when you go on the turnpike and you start to go away further and further and further, you're seeing all of this land. Like, I mean, miles and miles of open land where you can see over the horizon one side and on the other side. And it makes you realize that these cities are artificial and everything is so packed together. And the technology that we have to make things easier almost pull us into this dependency because we're not doing for ourselves and sharing with each other. It's stripping us down from the simple life. So that, like I said, to get away from that, and it doesn't mean you have to move way out, way out, way out. But remember, when the technology shuts down and we're dependent on it, and I say when because I truly believe that we're being set up with these smart cities, they say, where you can get anything within 15 minutes, even without a car. You can ride a bike, and anything that you need, you can get within 15 minutes. Why is that? It's making us complacent. What's the gain in that? To just be happy to stay within a certain area? I mean, the simpler life back in the day made it where people weren't traveling far as much. You know, we're getting married to people from other countries, other states. That's cool. But we don't have the old village mentality where we have a community for real and people support each other. Now things are so expanded, we don't know the people around us what kind of life they're living, right? It's amazing. So, you know, the overdependence on technology, yeah, you can get down with that to help out, but don't let it take away the core humanity that you have between you, your environment, the people around you. Because we're getting less fulfillment. I didn't think it would be this way, where I could see the world the way it is now. You know, people are so overly stimulated, but they're empty inside. They're hollow inside. They're sad. They're lonely, and it's just. I have a sense of community here. There are vendors down in the city, like even today, when I fixed my phone battery, and my buddy said that fixes phones. He said, don't use it until it's 100% because it will reduce the range of it. Let it go to 100% because I had my charger with me, right? So I went and sat down with one of the vendors about maybe 3 hours today. There's two women, one guy, and people on the other side, and they're having fun with me. We're joking, we're laughing, talking about the different cultures and, you know, teaching me words, and I couldn't pronounce it right, and they're laughing. And I took my time. Even one of the young ladies, she forgot her money and she needed something to eat. I got her some rice and some little thing that she wanted, and she was happy. You know what I mean? They tell me things, they get me hip to things. So we gotta have that. And it doesn't have to be right where you live next to your house. You might have the biggest haters living next door to you. You know what I mean? Be able to handle that, because I know I do, right? Anyway, next one. Chronic fear programming by media news outlets. Profit from fear. Headlines are designed to provoke emotional reactions. Understand this. Keeping us addicted to updates and reinforcing a sense of danger, even if your immediate surroundings are safe. Constant exposure to global crime, disasters, and conflict keeps your nervous system in a fight or flight mode. So sometimes you don't want to hear it. Seek out what you need to seek out. You see certain things, back away from it. Point. Media-induced fear keeps us mentally trapped in survival mode, feeling powerless to fix global problems. We're not going to do it. Hell, most of us can't even fix our own issues, right? So how are we going to stress on something and we don't even know it? And half the time, the news, they're about the fear-mongering because it's profitable for them because most of us are addicted, right? What do you think? The crack dealer is always going to be there to supply you the crack that you want. He makes money from it. It stimulates you, it takes you where you want to go. I wouldn't suggest it, right? But the drug is profitable for him. So that person who's addicted to the news, I've had people send me things that were ugly, ridiculous, and panicking about it. I had a friend of mine, there were a lot of alligators in a small part of Florida that were coming out into this one little community out of the swamp. This dude, oh my God, don't go outside. You better watch out. The alligators are gonna get you. They're swarming the streets. This was a long way from where I lived. And it was just a brief thing. For some reason it happened. And it was maybe like 4 or 5 alligators that went into a subdivision, went under people's parked cars and didn't do anything. But people get into this own world, this scrolling world. And it's been this way. It's changing how our brains think. It's crazy. Okay, here's another one. Loss of personal autonomy. Many people feel that their personal choices are limited by laws, regulations, corporations, and financial constraints. They feel controlled by systems too large to challenge. Even small decisions, like food choices or healthcare options, often feel dictated by outside forces. Point. When people feel they have no control over their own lives, powerlessness sets in. And again, it doesn't mean we're all of us, oh God, no. Doesn't mean even the people who are extreme are off like that. But they roll with it and let it happen and don't even reclaim it. You know what I mean? Like reclaim their peace. What if I told you, only think about wherever you live, it might be a city block, it might be your own property, right? Might be your own, and just think about that. Don't think about anything beyond. Cut the TV off, get off the smartphone, don't get on it certain times, a couple of hours before you go to sleep, get off the smartphone. But right before in the bed, you looking at it, what you think you're gonna dream about and process and internalize. You gotta be able to disconnect. I love disconnecting more so than ever. It makes me stronger. Because when I come back into the fray, into the world, into the things that are happening, I can focus better. But if I'm always on it, look, I'm not gonna say get up and go to the bathroom. Look, when you get up and go to pee, or whatever else you do, don't put that phone on. Yeah. Rub your eye, look at the phone. Now you feel that you have to do something. Now, I will admit one thing that I do, but it's not like it's bad, but it's what I do. If I have something to upload, like a longer video that's gonna take a long time, I'll set it up, hit the button, and go to bed. My struggle is when I get up to go to pee at night, which as an older man, I'm starting to do more, not really, but I'll go to check on the computer how far that video has gone after editing. Because after it's done, then you gotta upload it to social media. My dilemma is if I go in there and I'm scared, not scared like I'm scared of something, but I'm scared that if I go there, I might see it's up to 92%. Now I'm like, if I go back to sleep, it might finish and sit there, and I don't want it to sit there on dead time. So I said, let me see how long it takes to get to 93%. And if it doesn't happen after like 5 minutes, I'm going to bed. Because it's not going to keep me up. I've let it keep me up and sit there for an hour or whatever, and then hit it to go up on like YouTube or Facebook or something. I don't do that no more. I'm going back to bed. I went to the bathroom. My job is not to wake up all the way. Wake up just enough to do what you do and get back to bed. That's the only way, you know? 9, disconnect between mind, body, and spirit. Modern life often neglects spiritual well-being and self-care. We stay up late, eat poorly, barely exercise, and rarely meditate or reflect. This neglect disrupts inner harmony. Simpler societies often have more balance between physical labor, rest, prayer, and community rituals that nourish the spirit. What's the point? A disconnected lifestyle weakens inner resilience, amplifying feelings of hopelessness. That's true. We got so much we have to do. We got so much, in their days you're gonna do more. Emergencies happen too, right? But we wake up in our mind that, oh, I gotta do this, I gotta do that, and end up doing nothing at all. Because it paralyzes us, right? And that illusion of that type of life, it does nothing for you. Your brain is, you're sitting down doing nothing. You eat more food or food you shouldn't eat, and we're all out of whack. And the minute you go out in nature or say, you know what, I'm not doing anything today, you'll be so rested, so refreshed that when you come the next day and get down in your task, you feel so much better. But don't ever start thinking that, well, I fell behind. Now, we all have certain projects. If we're in some type of industry that way, yeah, you know that you have a deadline and you're falling behind. But the couple minutes or the hour that you take to just take a walk around the block, even if you live in the concrete jungle, get away from where that work is. Take your work if you can, if you're freelancing, doing stuff, because you may have to go to an office, but take that work, if you're not held down that way, and go to a hotel, a lounge, a hotel, a resort for a couple of days and do your work there. You know, sometimes you'll get down to the point where, like where my computer is on the table, and I have another area by the green screen over there, that I'll take my work and go on the balcony and do my editing and have the sun, you know, hit me. I'll take it with me. I'm going to the mall with my laptop and just sit there and do my work. It's a different feel. It doesn't feel like pressure. You have people walking by, you know, it breaks everything up. But there's a disconnect, and you can't separate. We separate the different components of ourselves, but you understand, whatever affects your mind affects your body and your spirit. Whatever affects your spirit affects your mind and your body. Whatever affects your body affects your mind and your spirit, right? So, in all of those different combinations, especially with emotions, the emotion you feel may be temporary, but you don't know it. You think it's reality because it's something you heard. Now you're all hyped up. That's why meditation is so important. It's so important. See, let me finish this up here. This last one, the illusion of progress. Despite all the advancements in technology, medicine, and wealth, many feel life is not actually improving. People work longer hours with less satisfaction. Convenience hasn't brought peace of mind. This gap between expectation and reality creates disillusionment. The feeling that progress isn't delivering true fulfillment. Point. When progress doesn't satisfy deeper human needs, people feel empty and powerless, right? Now, I'm going to write a full article from my short notes here, which they weren't really short, and I'm going to drop that on Lancescurv X under this particular video that will be on Lancescurv X. Even though you're probably looking at this on YouTube, it'll be the full article. Similar, but more in depth. So there's remedies to fix the things in that article. So I'll tease you. I'm not going to tell you that on this video, but I will show it on the article. So go there, lancescurvx.com, and subscribe. You'll get all of the updates and everything that I do. Even if it comes after the fact, you will get it in your inbox. It's not some other system. It goes right to your email. Everything I put up on Lancescurv X. So that's the deal. That way, you can't get shadow banned that way. And you have a more personal, intimate connection to me. If you like me, if you don't, you can still subscribe. But I'm telling you, life is something else, and these are the things I think about. And much love to Custom Model, my life coach, I call her. And we were speaking about powerlessness, and I said, you know what, I'm gonna do something on that. I didn't have any idea today what I was gonna do when I was out and about. I guess I was running up and down so much, but I said, I know it's gonna come to me. Something relevant, something that we can think about And if none of it was good for you, maybe one of it, if you derived something good from the words that I share, well, fine, then we're successful. You know, there's a lot of things to compete for your attention on social media. And when you come around this way, I want it to be aware, hey, I got something from old Scurv, right? Anyway, we're going to wrap this down. Leave your comments below. Let me know what you want me to talk about. And subscribe. And we're going to keep it going. Much love to you all. Thank you so much for spending the time with me. Peace out.